is the season to enjoy all traditions that you are unable to encounter. There are many activities that you are able to do in the fall. One tradition is pumpkin carving. A few other traditions that our family enjoys to do is we like to go to apple orchards and we like to pick apples. We like to go and rake leaves as a family. There's many activities in fall that we love to do. So we also like to go to the pumpkin patch, which brings me to my next topic. Pumpkin carving is picking out and pumpkin carving is a perfect tradition that our family loves to enjoy. It's a tradition where you spend quality time with your family and we just have a great time. The focus of this speech is to pick out and perfectly carve the beautiful pumpkin. There are many techniques to picking out and carving the perfect pumpkin. One thing that is especially important for picking out your pumpkin. We usually have to pick out a round, perfect pumpkin. And what you want to look for is no green spots, because if the pumpkin has green spots, it means it is not fully ripe, and it won't be as pretty as you would expect it to be. A perfect pumpkin would not have any soft spots. It wouldn't have any cracks, any splits, bruises, or anything that you would notice as a defect on a pumpkin. A pumpkin that you want traditionally to carve a face on is a medium-sized pumpkin. You want it so the face and the mouth fits perfectly. One of the first steps you have to do when you actually go to the pumpkin patch and pick out your pumpkin is when you bring it home, you want to wash it with a warm washcloth. Make sure it's got no dirt on it or anything so you can begin to carve it. After you wash it, you want to dry it. After you dry it, you just make sure it's fully dry before you begin carving. But first, we need to trace the face. You can usually go to like Meijer or Walmart and pick out a book that includes a ton of faces, and just pick out one that fits your pumpkin perfectly, the one that you will enjoy throughout the fall season. You want to trace the face, usually they come in kits, they have like little knives that they easily trace your face onto, so it'll make it easier to cut it when it's time to cut. But first, we want to cut out the top of around the stem of the pumpkin on the top, and when you do that, you want to gently pull, like after it's carved all the way through, you want to gently pull the stem to make sure it pops out easily, but don't break the stem, because it'll be hard for you to relight your tea light and do everything else. When you're cleaning out your pumpkin brains, as I like to call them, or the pumpkin guts, you want to use an ice cream scooper because it'll make sure it gets everything out nice and evenly. When you are done and ready, and you got everything cleaned out, all the strings and all the yucky stuff that comes inside the pumpkin, you want to start carving the face. You point the knife away from yourself to prevent any injury, so you don't stab yourself trying to, because sometimes pumpkins can be just a little bit tough on the outside when it's not fully ripe. It may be ripe but still not, doesn't have any green spots, but it might still be hard to push it through, and if it's thicker. When you push out the pieces, they should fall easily inside the pumpkin or outside the pumpkin. It doesn't really matter. Next, what you want to do is put the tea light in, make sure the bottom is flat, so it'll be really even. And then you light it, and then after you do that, you want to put the lid back on and see how well it looks. But here's some few tips to make your pumpkin last longer. Sometimes you can put petroleum jelly on the outside where your cuts are, and it will prevent it from browning. And if you prevent it from browning, it will last twice as long, and it'll still look beautiful without getting all wrinkly and dingy. The focus of my paper was to carve and pick out the most beautiful pumpkin for the fall season. I hope you enjoy fall just as much as me and my family do, and enjoy it and carve your pumpkins and do the hay and have a great holiday.